beaten to death, first of all, and then taken with his brutal body and I mean torn apart. How gruesome is that?
Oh, okay. Okay, but here's the thing. That we know that happened. I just want to know, does it get more gruesome than that? Because according to him, it wasn't really that gruesome. Like how they used to hang people and stuff like that and kill them off and shit like that, feed them to alligators and shit like that, and taking rape children. It wasn't as gruesome as people think that they trying to make it out to be. They just trying to scare you. Well, let me ask you something, angry man, and I hope you hear this. Explain on your dumbass show, well, how it really was. Explain how nice it was when they were raping 5-year-olds and 10-year-old children, including boys.
Hmm. Not
Explain
only
how
did
nice
they
they were
rape the
doing that
women,
shit.
they raped the children and the men too.
This
Huh.
is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. They talking about, well, with bed winches and right. But that's what they always talk about. But they don't talk about all the black men that were regularly raped. And I ain't talking about just boys. I'm talking about grown men. And this is on record, not the fucking movies. This is
The
this is this this
movies.
is this right here is the reason why black people are upset. They're not upset because Roots came out. No, no, no. That was upsetting. But let me tell you something. When you watch Roots, right? The same way you walk away from that is not the same way you walked away from Game of Thrones. As gruesome as Game of Thrones was, right?
Mm.
You came back, you didn't have PTSD, did you? After watching Game of Thrones on HBO. No, but after you watch any slave picture about black people, you can't show your children that shit. You can't because you will fuck them up. But that's actually what happened and some. So
Oh
my
no no
thing
no no no
is,
no 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 no
on
no.
principle, why do you got your mouth open about this shit? And one other thing, you're talking to black men saying they don't have the mental capacity. Talking to black men now. This is what you really think about black men, but yet people think your real issue is with black women. Nigga, bye.
No
No,
no no
you
no
hate
no.
your own people. Yeah, you hate your
I
own.
saw my daughter. I had my daughter watch Birth of a Nation, Nate Parker's version. She had all types of interesting questions to ask me. Number one, why are they doing our people like this? Simply put, they hate you. It's not only that they hate you, I have to give credit to what Angry Man said when he said they were profitable. Yes, slave was a moneymaker to white folks. From plantation owner to plantation owner to plantation owner. They were fighting over how many slaves and what slaves were profitable. Right? We can't overlook that thought. However, the same thing that happened back then is the same thing that's happening today. Today, wages, minimum wages. Why are minimum wages 8.50 an hour? 7.50 to 8.50 an hour. Why is it that we cannot be? Why can't have those particular programs or jobs for little black boys and for little black girls? There's a reason why college or schools are failing black boys in high schools. There's a reason why they keep glossing over the fact that all these white kids are averaging the same grade as the black boy, but they want to put over the white man over you. There's a reason for that. They don't want you to compete. That's slave mentality. That is the slave mentality, and they want you in the same mind. First, there's incarceration. There's incarceration. There's frustration. First there's miseducation. There's miseducation. There's incarceration, frustration, and there's termination. Miseducation, frustration, executing your own for this. There's a reason why you execute your own for a very fucking reason, because you don't have the mind for that. And there are plenty of professors. There are plenty of professors who are trying to put your mind back intact because you are in danger of exterminating your cells. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why you still have the Willie Lynch chip mind. There's a reason for that. But some of these knuckleheads don't want to look at that. They want to look at you and say, what does slavery have to do with anything? Slavery was a long time ago. We live in the here and now. Just because the world has changed doesn't mean that I said that wrong. Just because the world has changed doesn't mean the scenario stays the same. It's just at a different light. That's all. Stop looking at it for what it isn't. Stop looking at white folks as your buddy all the damn time. I'm completely fully aware, even with people around, white folks around me, and I don't share certain shit with white folks. That's why you don't have conversation with white folks about your struggle. Stop that. They're not going to share their struggle with your struggle. They're not going to do that. They're not going to openly, well, some of them will. They're not going to openly admit that they were wrong. They're not going to openly, well, they're not going to guide you to the white supremacists. They're not going to guide you. They're not going to fight against their own. They're not for you. You make it a person with blue hair putting the mirror up to this nigga face and telling them for what it really is. It's like, you really want to discuss with me about what you went through and how this and how that and this and that and this and the third? You really want to have a discussion with me about that? Meanwhile, just Pearly thinks, even though the black men, they were whipped. They weren't more whipped than the white men because white men were more whipped than them. Really, bitch? Really? So white men were whipped too.
Right.
Ruthless, you wanted to say something, sir, before we...
Well, the question is now, because you guys pretty much summed everything up in both of you guys' conversation. But the question now is, how do we build, right? Now that we have all this information, which we understand it, now we got to build our nation within. There's no reason and no excuses now that we can't accomplish. We can't blame the past that can stop our future. So everything from this point is open book. Okay, so how do we build as a people? How can we push forward? And that starts right here on YouTube, right? Because now the lines of communication has helped us to reach each other from miles away within seconds. And I understand that we have the knowledge, right? Now what are we going to do with it? How are we going to make this bring our nuclear family back together? How are we going to make this put us in a better position to compete in the future with the other races as far as the financial capital gain? All these things are important for the structure of the future. And I understand that what's going on these spaces is I guess some people are triggered and people want to revisit. That's fine. Get it out. Let it all out. The best therapeutic value is to sometimes get it out, right? You don't want to hold it in because then it can explode and be toxic. But now that we got it out, now we got to move forward. And with that being said, we have to start by, representing ourselves better in these spaces and on the streets, right? We just can't keep going to the past and did not hold ourselves accountable for our future. We just can't keep dividing ourselves over small and ambiguous things that will not hold us back. We're holding our own selves back now, right? Black people is the richest ever been in the history of the world. right? Ever. We have more money, more resources. We are 8%. We hold 8% of the wealth in America. We have intellectual. Yeah, we got our, our bad apples, but yet we still got a lot of prominent apples. But yet we're working against each other to keep one another down. This is a problem that we need to solve.
Well, let me ask you something, right? How are we keeping each other down in this circumstance with Angry Man?
I'm losing my train of thought.
Well, the reason I ask is because there's another issue we have too as a people, and that is continuing narratives that are basically stereotypical and that don't fit reality. To say that, for instance, we're not on code, right? No one group of people are all on code. So why are we holding ourselves to a higher standard than anybody else? We're not better or worse than anybody else. Period. When it comes to African Americans, we make up almost about 15% of the population. When 15% of businesses, that's not realistic because that would mean everybody would have to have their own business. However, for every industry that is any industry here in the United States, there is Black enterprise in that industry, period. You can't go to no state and look up any particular business and not find a Black business that's offering that specific. Now, you might have to travel a distance because obviously states are big. Some states hardly have Black people in it, but it's there. And we don't make up so much of the population, but we are in it. So when we say, well, we're not on code. All I know is a lot of Black businesses is doing business with other Black businesses as well as non-Black businesses because business is business. But at the end of the day, I see it. And it's not vocalized, but I see it. I see a lot of businesses literally partnering with other businesses and employing other Black people all the time. And we're leading in the world when it comes to entrepreneurship as African Americans, the ones that don't do shit, the lazy motherfuckers. We're the ones leading in the world when it comes to every hard work and self independence. And it's like, and education too, but not to say that education is an issue in the United States, but come on, like there's worse places in worse parts of the world. And when you look at, for instance, our ghettos, right? Our ghettos is the best ghettos in the world. If you want to call it anything, pound for pound, with any other ghetto. And so my thing is, well, okay, people say, well, we need to come together. We are together. That's why most of us upset as shit right now with these coon ass niggas, because all of us, not all of us, but most of us are on code. Whether or not we agree on this manosphere shit, people ain't feeling that because it's too much. It's too much, literally. So it's like, how are we not on code? I think we need to stop saying that Black people are not on code. Black people don't stick together. Black people ain't about the Black community, because we are. I don't know no other group of people that have the amount that have created the amount of spaces that Black people have created for Black people. Now, the Jews, they have created a small space for Jews, but that's because they are a very small people in the world. We are the biggest group in the world, from Africa to the diaspora. So it's going to look different for us. But at the end of the day, we got to stop saying that and just recognize that maybe we're already there and we're looking at perfection when that's not necessary. Like, everybody don't need to open a business. Everybody, and here's another thing too, to your point about, for instance, the nuclear family. That would be a help, but I'm gonna be honest with you. We need to fix ourselves individually before we start talking about coming together in nuclear families. Nuclear families is great, but when you don't got the right people in it, it's horrible, and you ain't gonna get shit out of it either way. So let's be clear about the fact. For instance, men don't need to come into nuclear families not being able to take care of a family, let alone themselves. That's not going to work in the new era. Period.
Nope.
It's just not a two income household is the bare minimum. So therefore, you can't expect a black man to basically be a miracle worker. No. So we have to create a different culture where we can respect each other and still understand the dynamics of our relationship, regardless of our financial status. Like that's what we need to deal with and practice. That's going to take a few decades. That's not going to happen tomorrow, next
Yep.
year, or in the
Yep.
next 10 years. That's going to take a few decades. It didn't take 2 years for us to get here. It took decades. This has been in the works since the 50s. Like, and now we here. Okay. Like we started at the bottom. Now we here. So trust me, me and you gonna be old, probably dead when we see this turn over. But at the end of the day, this is where
Yeah.
we're going.
It starts with you. It starts with you. It automatically starts with you. And if you read the books, Dr. Claude Anderson, Black Labor, White Wealth. What's the other one? I got Powernomics. You read those books, you can get um, a real feel about what it means to be a community when you work together, actually, and you work with your community. I mean, if it's verbal, whether it's verbal or whether it's physical, if and we're not gonna see again, we're not gonna see eye to eye and everything, but the thing about it is, what can we see eye to eye about? Right. We can start from there. Secondly, you can have there are plenty of industries, plenty of black industries that we can support. There are plenty of mom and pop stores that we can support. A lot of people don't want to even support black clothing online. If you're a nerd, you don't want to support black comic books. You want to keep supporting that nonsense that they're putting out on on the Disney networks, which are clearly turning into a different type of nature. And it's something that my kids will not be watching due to the fact that it's not it's not child friendly. None of it is anymore. So I mean, Eric July, shouts out to Eric July. He has his own comic book out. I've shown that before. And you can go to his website, ripperuniverse.com. You can go to, if you want to get any type of clothing, you can go to Ramomart, newyork.com. If you don't want to go to if you want to go to your local store and get bread, all you got to do is go to Black Bread Business. I think it's Black Bread Business. What is it called? I'm gonna go to it real fast. Black Bread Company. Black Bread Company. How do you spell that? Fifth grade education. Oh my goodness. Fifth grade education. Oh, their website is. I think their website is down. Yeah, their website is down. But if you want to get bread, you got it. If you want to get if you have a sweet tooth, then I mean, if anything, if you want to support black businesses, go to Zoe Williams's page, or go to Zoe William, Zoe what morning, and he always promotes black businesses. Always promotes black businesses. See, we some of us don't. I mean, some of us have our own IQs about what people put out there, and they don't want to spend the money because they're so used to, the Ralph Laurens of the world. I mean, they're so used to the Christian Dior's. You're so used to that. But the very product that is being made by black folks is the exact same thing as the things that you buy from your local stores. But we don't want to we don't want to promote those. So
So keep in mind, only a certain sector of Black people are the ones that don't want to support, let's say, labels, for instance, right? Clothing labels that are not top of the line in terms of popularity. It's not all. You got a good portion of Black people that are ranchers, that live out in off the grid, that live out in the countryside, that are not into labels like that. There's a good portion of Black people that do not shop Ralph Lauren and all these other type of labels, and that they buy non-label clothes, or let's say labels that they just support. But that's the thing, there is a sector of the Black community that is poor but need to be surrounded by the trinkets of rich whiteness, which isn't land ownership. It's not ownership of in business and commerce. No, it's just clothing, shoes, and maybe, like, I don't know, game systems and TVs. It's nothing actually tangible that you can leave to your children that will make them money. Like, it's not like that. There's a small section that's like that, but then there's a section of the Black community that are well off, like just well off. And it's like they're not overly concerned. Actually, they're not concerned at all with some of the small stuff. But it's like, again, if we keep on focusing on that small portion of people that namely live in the ghettos, right? And not all Black people that live in the ghetto is chasing after labels. Not all of them. Some of them, yes. But you see, even in that, it's like we're not a monolith. So we got to be careful about these mantras that we keep repeating about ourselves, that say, Black people only support certain things. It's like, no, some of them do, which I got some Ralph Lauren shit. I ain't even gonna front. But I also, when I see my own doing something, I support them too. I will drive down to DC for instance, to this health food store to buy vitamins. I got a vitamin shop right out here in the best part of this state, but I will drive 30 miles to support a mom and pop shop that has the vitamins that I like, that I want.
Yes.
All the way in DC.
Yes. Miss Nebraska, you said you had some very interesting things you wanted to express to the panel.
Oh, I do?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Lola.
Hi. Don't mind me. I'm gonna pick a frying chicken.
What would you like for me to share, sir?
Well, you
I've been talking a lot in the chat, so.
Yeah, but you said something about a bank, that your relatives or whoever owns a bank.
Yes. So a cousin of mine recently went into partnership with a Black young man. They bought a bank in Utah.
Oh.
So that was a huge major move. There's very little Black-owned banks here in America. So that was just that was a good accomplishment that we are proud of her for. And I know I'm from Nebraska, so a lot of people say, we didn't know Black people were in Nebraska. But yeah, there are Black people in Utah, believe it or not.
I didn't know there were Black people in Minnesota.
Yeah, a lot of us are in the cold climate areas. But yeah, hopefully, with them purchasing that bank in Utah and get some Black dollars circulating around there in those parts, is looking hopeful. It's looking hopeful.
You can only hope against hope. All right, everybody, stick around because only got a few minutes, and quite frankly, we're gonna have to do a part 2 of this, as on Shun put it, because this is quite juicy stuff. We are not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. As a matter of fact, what are you doing tomorrow? Oh yeah, you got that thing going on at around 3 o'clock. I got you. So I'll be on at 1. So if you, oh no, I'm sorry, 12 o'clock. I'm gonna go and take my son, get his hair cut for his Easter play on Sunday, and then I'll go ahead and I will be arriving around 12 o'clock so we can finish this effery that's been and you sir, you ruthless. You come on back up. So
Okay.
you're in the family. You're in the family now. So yeah, salute to you, sir.
You know, I'm coming with that positivity.
Oh yes, sir. You ain't got no choice. You will be you will. But I'm gonna play this last little thing and we out of here. All right.
Year without putting out a slave movie. And in those slave movies, they make it as barbaric as they possibly can make it. But here's my question to you. A slave back then, and see, most Negroes can't look at shit this way because they lack the ability to look at that shit outside of their emotions, outside of their feelings, right? If you step outside of your feelings for a second and stop being so focused on your disdain for the white man, right? If you step outside your feelings for a second and you really think about it, right? A slave to those people back then was a utility, something that helped make them money, something they had to pay for. So here's my question to you guys. If you went out, let's say you decided to be a farmer, and let's say you went out and you bought a tractor, right? Are you gonna go and take a freaking stick and beat the crap out of your tractor to the point where it can't do anything? Are you gonna bust all of the tires? That don't make logical sense, right?
What you said don't make sense.
That don't make logical sense, do it? Now look, I'm gonna say this again because I know how niggas is gonna get. I know what you're gonna say. Well, Angry Man, is you saying that they didn't beat the slaves? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is any slave owner that took it to that level of barbarism, their plantation didn't last long because you can't beat the life out of your workers and then expect them to have the capability to work. You're fucking up your production, right? That's logical thinking, right? Now, am I saying that there weren't slave owners that did that? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying to you is they give you a depiction in movies and miniseries that make it seem like every slave's life was just completely.
I'm done.
He was. I don't know. I think he was reaching there.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. I can't deal with it anymore. I really can't.
I know. I know. He keeps saying, I'm not saying that they didn't beat him, but he's also essentially saying they didn't beat him that bad. And it's like, nigga, was you there? What book are you referencing?
Yeah, he was reaching.
He reaching so hard, and I'm sitting here saying, dude, I can see if you were reaching and you were referencing something, right? But come on now, like,
but you know what I was thinking, right? It's how you get yourself in hot water and you can't take yourself back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was happening. Like he jumped too far out there in something he really wasn't intellectually intelligent in,
right?
And then when he thought about it, he's like, damn, I don't want to lose. I don't want to go too hard. So he tried to clean it up.
Listen.
Sir, okay, I want to ask everybody here before we get the hell out of here. Has anybody read the Willie Lynch letter?
I read it once.
Yes.
Yes.
And do you think that what was in that letter is referenced to today?
1000%.
Yeah.
Well, I have to think about this, right? Because we have. No, I'm serious though. It is.
I'm listening.
Some white people are for black people, right? Some white people aren't. So I mean, I don't really think it's been implemented because we are in a different place now. Is it not? Is it forgotten? No. But is it being Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think it is. Yeah, because I'm looking at the rappers
No,
wearing
I
dresses.
want you to have your own mind.
Yeah. When the rappers wearing dresses, right, and how they be humiliating us, I like. I think about it. Yes, it is a hidden agenda, and it has to go back to that. It has to go back to that, right?
We okay. I was getting worried about you.
You know I'm gonna bring it home. I had to, I have to be objective, but then when I really put the big picture together, when I put the big picture together with how they embarrass black men and how what the police are doing is just at the rate they're doing it is just though. I mean, the Willie Lynch standard has to be the foundation.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get plenty of rest. Oshun, get the hell out of here. Get you some rest.
I will. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good
All
night.
right.
Good night.
You choose some rest. You choose some rest. And we're gonna continue this buffoonery tomorrow.
What time?
I will be. I don't know if you're I don't know if you're East Coast, Pacific.
I'm Eastern time.
Eastern time. So that means I will be going on at 12 because this woman has something to do. And so 12 o'clock, that would mean 3 o'clock your time.
Okay, cool.
All right. So be here at your own risk. No, I was playing.
All right. Be easy. Blessings.
All right. Blessings. All right. Hey, and tune in to tomorrow. Same bat time. Same bat channel.